If you've happened to travel to Yorkshire and walked on its famous moors, you may have come across an old house. It doesn't look like much from the outside with its dark walls, overgrown hedges, and a broken window here and there. If you decided to take a closer look and creeped closer to peek in, however, you might have seen something strange move among the knocked-over furniture and old portraits hanging on the walls. What is that, you may have wondered, as a cold breath caught you and sent you on your way? Do you want to step in? A white figure stood in the window of Hauntington Manor, in the outskirts of the village of Duston. Plenty of people had seen this figure over many centuries and decades, and in the village, people knew not to venture too close to the big house. The figure stood quite still, staring out into the overgrown, once magnificent garden, sighed, and turned away. Not a single person to be seen, anywhere. The figure floated past a large mirror, but no reflection could be seen. This ghostly teenager knew well enough that without an earthly figure, she could not check her hair, try on another outfit, or even see her own face. She was cursed to a life as a ghost, along with her annoying family. Emmeline Ashbridge was the daughter of the Alaric Ashbridge, the Duke of Smidgen, and Cressida Ashbridge, the Duchess of Smidgen, and she had one insufferable brother, Percival. They were a perfectly normal family, apart from just one thing. They were ghosts, cursed to wander the halls of their home until they could break their pesky spell. Easier said than done, thought Emmeline, as she swooped down the stairs for the millionth time. What is this curse, you might wonder? Well, a very long time ago, the Duke of Smidgen had made a mistake of raising land tax in his county. As you may imagine, such a decision is rarely met with joy from the people who end up paying more. And there was plenty of rioting involving torches and pitchforks. The greedy Duke, however, was not moved. He hounded the villagers until they decided to ask help from an old woman living alone on the dark woods. The old lady created a curse, which rid the villagers of the Duke and his taxes, and everyone was happy. Well, except for the Duke's family. However, as is usually common with nasty curses, there was also a way out of it. The family could lift the curse by catching someone in their house. The villagers, aware of this, nailed the door to the house shut and told everyone passing through the area to avoid the big house at all costs. For a long time their plan worked a treat, but then came the 21st century with its smartphones, internet, GPS, social media, and selfies. And that brings us to this day. The day Emmeline Ashbridge flew down the stairs of her house to find her brother rattling some chains. That's what ghosts do. And her parents moving around the library, discussing the best ways to imitate the sound of a creaking floor. This domestic, if ghostly scene, was interrupted by a voice coming from outside. There was someone there. The voices got closer. There was a man and a woman, and they didn't sound happy. "Come on, Steph," the man said, sounding exasperated. "We came all the way here, and this place is meant to be really haunted. The website said that no one has been here for ages." "Yeah, for a good reason. Look at it, Victor. I'm not coming in," the woman said firmly. "I'll wait here while you go explore." "Fine," the man replied, and added, "but you'll regret not coming with me." The family listened as the steps crept up closer and the door started to creak open. A young man opened the door wide, casting sunlight on the long abandoned hall. He stepped in and looked around himself warily. "It's fine. Not scary." He trailed off and swallowed. "Not scary at all." As the young man walked along the hall and looked into the rooms, the family of ghosts gathered together. "It's finally happening," Percival whispered with his eyes wide from excitement. "Let's get him." Now, now, son. We must be clever to make sure we don't repeat Mummy's muck-up from 1823, said Alaric and shot a sideways glance at the mother of the family. I beg your pardon, husband, Cressida huffed. I think you'll find it was you who— Shh, Emmeline interrupted. Where is he? The family looked around. There was no sign of the intruder. Great. Our first chance at freedom is ruined because of your bickering, Emmeline said while her parents scowled at each other. Let's break up and go look for him. We know this house better than anyone. He can't stay hidden for long. The rest of the family nodded and floated off. Victor had made his way to the great room with its black beams and small, murky windows. What an amazing place, he thought, looking up at the huge old ceiling beams, when a strange sound made him jump and sneak behind a large armor. He could not believe his eyes. A pale, sort of shapeless man appeared through the wall and flew around the room, under a table, past a big, dusty chest, and right past the armor, leaving Victor shaking in his boots. After a moment, the ghost shrugged his shoulders and disappeared through another wall. Victor, frozen in fear, snapped to his senses. I have to get out of here. Now, he said to himself, creeped along the wall to the doorway, down the hall, and back to the front door. As he gently pulled the door, it creaked loudly. Victor jerked around to see a ghost, no, 4 of them, flying towards him. He yanked the door open, ran outside, and shouted, Steph, run! There's ghosts! Steph looked up from her mobile bemused, but her expression soon changed when Victor grabbed her arm and pulled her up. What are you doing? There's no such thing as ghosts. They were running for the large gates, but just before they could reach them, they heard the clattering of chains, and the family of ghosts appeared from the house. Where did he go? At this rate, we'll never break the curse. One of the ghosts, a woman with big green hair, asked. Why did you have to go after your chains, Percy? It's such a ghost cliché. Just let me have my moment, Mother, Percy said, looking offended. Steph and Victor peeked over the headstone to see the ghosts looking around. One of them, a ghost with the face of a young woman, snapped. He must still be here somewhere. Percy, you go that way. Daddy, that way. Mummy and I will go towards the gate. Victor and Steph looked at each other, each of them pale as a sheet. What do we do? I don't want to catch their curse, Steph said. Victor thought for a moment and said, I have an idea. He took Steph's phone, tapped the screen a couple of times, and then tossed the phone across the graves. As it hit the grass, it began to play a loud, clamorous song, the top 10 record of the week. The ghosts stopped in their tracks, turned, and flew towards the god-awful noise. Hey, that's my phone, Steph started, but Victor pulled her up and they ran for the gates as fast as they could. In fact, they didn't stop running until they reached the village. They weren't sure whether to believe their own eyes, but quite a few of the villagers gave them a strangely knowing look. How about the ghosts? Well, they remained cursed. Percy was told to get rid of his chains, and Emmeline didn't talk to her family for a full year. So, if you fancy a bit of an adventure and a great selfie opportunity, do stay far from Dustin and Hauntington Manor. The family of ghosts will not let another opportunity slip by, and the next intruder who decides to hide in their house might very well find themselves surrounded.